Today's video is brought to you all by 5 Hour Energy Extra Strength. Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at all of the Rockstar Games protagonists that have actually died, whether in their game or other Rockstar Games titles. So in case it wasn't obvious, there's definitely going to be a ton of spoilers throughout this video, so if you haven't played any of these games or you're not interested in finding out, maybe the ending or how someone dies, this video might not be for you, and you might want to click away. Now, my good friend Zach Cox, he covered this a couple months ago, and I thought this was really cool. I'll leave a link to his channel in the description too. He does a lot of interesting videos and topics like this, so if you like this one, you'll probably like what he does on his channel, so be sure to check it out. We're going to be starting with Grand Theft Auto 5 first, because believe it or not, there are 3 protagonists that actually die in this game. The first of which is Johnny Klebitz, the former president of the Lost MC motorcycle group in Liberty City. Now, he was the protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 4's DLC expansion, The Lost and the Damned. And in that game, he was one of the single coolest characters of all time. He was just bad to the bone, didn't take no for an answer, was ruthless, was gritty, one of the best characters that Rockstar have ever developed. And in Grand Theft Auto 5, he is the complete opposite. He is a shell of himself. He doesn't really stand up for himself anymore. He lets Trevor push him around. I'm almost positive that he relies on Trevor for either some sort of addiction or something like that. You can just clearly tell from the one cutscene that he's in. And literally, we don't get to see Johnny for more than 30 seconds before Trevor's putting him into the ground, curb stomping him, throwing bottles at his face. So it's really one of the saddest deaths in the franchise, especially if you were such a big fan of Johnny Klebitz in The Lost and the Damned, because when we last left him off, things seemed to be going pretty well for him. What happened in the 5 to 6 year span between GTA 4 and 5 that led him to Los Santos and Sandy Shores, and that also led him to be just a shell of himself and the man that he is now. And we obviously don't get to see much of Johnny, which is kind of unfortunate because, like I said, one of the best characters in the franchise, and the only cutscene he's featured in, he's killed off in about 30 seconds. So that is unfortunate right there, and that is the first protagonist to die in GTA 5. Now, these next two, even though they might not be considered the true ending, is Trevor Phillips and Michael DeSanta, 2/3 of the main protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 5. So this is when Franklin is presented with the choice that he has to make. Does he do the death wish and try and go against Evan Weston, or does he make a deal with them and either kill off Michael or kill off Trevor? This is one of the most hardest decisions for GTA 5 players. We know that the death wish is probably the most likely one, unless you just have like a vendetta for either Michael or Trevor. Their deaths are pretty interesting. You light Trevor on fire after he crashes into like a gasoline tanker. And then with Michael, when you actually go and kill him, you almost have second thoughts as Franklin, but Michael knows that the betrayal has already been complete, and at that point doesn't want to have Franklin to change his mind. So I think that that's one of the most conflicting endings of all time, and the aftermath, if you make one of those choices, is pretty extreme on the character, as you obviously can't go back and play them. For Michael, you know that he has a family, he has a wife, 2 children, so that's obviously pretty hard right there. And I'm curious, I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Since most of you have probably played GTA 5, what was the ending that you chose? Did you do the death wish? Did you kill Michael? Did you kill Trevor? Let me know in the comment section down below. All right, let's move from Grand Theft Auto 5 to GTA Vice City and Vice City Stories. So Vice City Stories came out after Vice City. This is going to get a little confusing, but the protagonist of that game was ex-Marine Victor Vance. And he was an awesome character in Vice City Stories as he went through kind of the criminal underworld there. And in Vice City, he plays a very small role, and it can actually be seen in the opening cutscene. He and his brother are doing a drug deal with Tommy Vercetti. And you guys know that that drug deal ends up going wrong. Someone ambushes him, and Victor Vance is actually killed in the process. His brother Lance Vance is the one in the helicopter. And what's pretty crazy is that Rockstar has actually confirmed that this is the case. Someone asked a question that said, "Hey Rockstar, I've been a huge fan of Vice City and was wondering, is that Victor Vance who is gunned down in the intro of Vice City?" All sources seem to say yes, but no official word has been given on that. And Rockstar's replied, "Yup, that's Vic," after having been dragged back into the Vice City criminal underworld by his brother Lance. Following the events of Vice City Stories, Vic Vance dies in the ambush that occurs in the opening scene of Grand Theft Auto Vice City. So that clears it up once and for all there, and Rockstar has confirmed that yet another another GTA protagonist has died, and they actually died in another game too, which is kind of the same fate of Johnny Klebbett. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And that is the fourth GTA protagonist to actually bite the bullet. From Grand Theft Auto to Red Dead Redemption, let's move on to everyone's favorite outlaw, and that is John Marston. Unfortunately, John Marston did not survive the end of the terrific storyline of Red Dead Redemption. He basically makes his final stand in a barn after saying goodbye to his wife and his kid. And when he comes out, even the dead eye skills of John can't save him, as he is surrounded by a ton of people that don't want him to be alive. I don't know how many people there are. I think it's like 20 or 30, and you can take out as many as you want, but unfortunately, that is the end of John Marston right there. Now, it'll be interesting to see if he is featured in Red Dead Redemption 2, since we know that is going a little bit back in the past. So what's interesting is, even though John is technically dead, this might not be the last time we see of him, especially given the events of the unknown storyline of Red Dead Redemption 2. So this might kind of throw a wrench in this storyline a little bit, but I definitely wanted to include him on here still, because at the end of that game, his chapter is written, and John Marston does eventually die at the end of Red Dead Redemption, which is, again, a pretty sad story, especially given all the events that you went through with that character. And finally, last but not least today, we have Cole Phelps from LA Noire. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly. I don't know how to say that, but he's basically a 27-year-old LAPD detective. It's a pretty cool game. Now, Rockstar Games actually picked up on this title about halfway into its development cycle, and they kind of just took it on as their own, and it's a really good game. Now, Cole Phelps actually dies at the very end. He's trying to save this lady. They are like basically in this like sewer system, and there's this like rush of water that's heading towards them, and Cole Phelps, in a heroic last effort, pushes this lady up so he's able to save her, but unfortunately he is not able to save his own life, as he is rushed away by the water, and that is kind of the last we see of him. There's a funeral and everything like that, and it's a really, really sad ending given the kind of morbid and cruel storyline that was that overall game. So that is the last Rockstar Games protagonist that we're going to be looking at today, and the final one that has died in their respected franchises or in another game. I wonder if we're going to have any more that will be added to this list in future Rockstar titles, whether it's Red Dead Redemption 2, Bully 2, or possibly even another Grand Theft Auto game sometime down the line. But I want to hear from you guys in the comment section down below. Which one of these did you think was the saddest given the circumstances? I'd love to hear from you guys down there. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would of course be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new or you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.